Welcome everyone. I just wanted to talk to you guys today about the recent thing that's been happening on in the game where players have been cheating in the game, and what they have been doing is they have been going into the quest challenges. They've been going to return to Moldova. If they have completed the stages, there was a way that they could, or there was a bug that they could go and replay the stages. Now this has been going on for quite some time. It's actually been going on since Springvale. Now, a lot of people are quite upset and quite outraged with these players who have been cheating. However, it's your fault, SG. It's not the player's fault. It's your fault. I'm going to ask every single player now who plays this game to now think, and I'm going to ask you, have you ever cheated or exploited in this game? Other than playing Atlantis, when Atlantis comes along and it's Atlantis Rising and we all farm and we all have to grind to get some materials of whatever, has anyone ever exploited the game in any way? You're lying, because you have. We have all, in this game, unless if you're just starting the game right now, we have all exploited the game in one way, and I'll show you right now. Once upon a time, we used to go to the tower, used to enter the tower, and we were going to raid. What we used to do was, we would go to do a revenge. Oh, I don't like the look of that team, or whatever your... or maybe the ham is not enough. Usually, with my case, is that I don't tend to look at the team so much. I always tend to look at the resources that I need to level my team. So stuff like ham or iron. So once upon a time, you used to go to revenge. I'll try and show you actually. See if it works. If someone needs to be online for me to show you. Hopefully I'll find someone. Where is it? Okay, anyways. Once upon a time, we used to go to the Revenger player. If the player was online, it gave you the option to reroll. And you could reroll for free. So many players in this game have played that way, and they've rerolled for free instead of spending 2,500 ham. So if I go here and I go to find opponent, I'm not going to pay 2,500 ham to re-roll. I'm going to try and see if I could find a player who happens to be online in the tower, and if they were online, I'd try to attack them, it would offer me to re-roll, and I would do it for free. And that's how I got around not spending ham to keep re-rolling until I find a player I want to play against. We all exploited that, every single person in the game. I'm not saying, and I'm not condoning cheaters, and I am not condoning people exploiting things in the game. However, this was made available to us, and I know that every single player in this game exploited that fact. Most players, if not every player, exploited that. Why? Because resources are very little, so we always try to save as much resources as we can. That, right here, this reroll for free, was made available to all of us by you, SG. We didn't cheat. You made it available to us, and we used it. So these players who've then gone into Moldova and done whatever they wanted to do to replay the stages, they were the ones who managed to do that and exploit it because you made it available to them. They didn't go to your company, to your head office with a gun and stole money from your bank and forced you to do. You made it available to them. SG, us players are spending millions in your company you cannot say that you do not have the funds to ensure you put things right for the game. And many times, many times, a lot of players and a lot of people have expressed their concerns not only on various channels and on your forum, and they have been left ignored. There's been many times that your better players who have raised their concerns with you on plenty of occasions, again, they have been ignored by you. So you're the one who's responsible, not the players. Now this causes an imbalance. Now, if this has started from Springvale, now all of you need to try and think a little bit. A lot of players complained about Teleria, Vela, and Gravemaker, how overpowered they are, oh my god, and all that stuff. Vela, when she came out, no one gave two shits about her. Teleria came out, and Vela on her own was pretty much useless, and no one used her. Teleria came out, and it was quiet for a month or two. Then people started complaining how overpowered she was. Why? Because they saw that most of the people in the top 100 or top 1,000, top whatever amount of people had Teleria and had Vela, and a lot of players struggled. Why did a lot of players struggle against those teams? Because here's the thing. If since Springvale people were able to refarm Ascension materials, thus then leveling their teams fully, so whatever teams they had, it doesn't matter if the essential material was yellow, poison darts, maybe they just keep pulling, maybe they get June and they get Justice. Let's just say they get Justice. After pulling with all their gold coins that they kept collecting, maybe they gained 100, maybe they gained 1,000, and out of that 1,000 they got 900 Dawas, 50 Priskas, and 2 Justices. But because they had the Ascension materials, they leveled those Justices. Those leveled heroes, doesn't matter if they were good heroes or they were the worst 5-star heroes or the worst 4-star heroes. If they had 5 leveled 5-star heroes, that then means since Springvale they could play the quest stages. So usually around here somewhere, I think it's 3 times a week or twice a week, we get an emblem quest stages. Now I'm level 70, and usually the 3rd level I always struggle. So the first 2 levels to get those emblems were okay. The first one is quite easy, and then the second one was okay. Third one sometimes was challenging to the point where I then have to go to the craft shop, and then I would have to make tornadoes or make time stops or whatever to help me complete the final quest stage for getting an emblem of whatever was on offer. Now, if players have gotten all their essential materials, even if the essential material at the time was poison darts, or if it was just rings, the amounts of rings that they would have had, they could have had maybe 5 Kagans or 5 Marjanas, and 5 Marjanas, or maybe even 4 Marjanas with a Bolt Tusk would have gotten the job done. So, a lot of people are complaining, and also SG, you are not being very clear about what you are going to be doing about the situation. Are you taking it seriously? The bug has been resolved now, blah blah blah. We're gonna temporarily suspend their accounts. But if you temporarily suspending their accounts and you're gonna take their materials away from them, if it hasn't been used, or if it's been used, you're gonna take the cost of gems away from them. So I don't know, maybe if they've got 0 gems in their account, so you're gonna put maybe a minus 10,000 gems, but you're not going to be making up for all the essential materials by playing the quest stages. When it comes to the monthly events like Wonderland, for example, when Wonderland comes along, when they play those, the 3-star stages, the epic, and then the legendary stages, which then they manage to complete because they have got rosters that have been prematurely already been advanced and leveled because of the essential materials they got. Yes, the other thing I thought was really strange, the other thing I thought was incredibly strange is that I've seen players on the internet like, oh, they got the new hero of the month. So what happens? By the time you know it, about a week in, you go to the top rankings, the person's already got that hero of the month within a week, fully leveled, fully emblemed to the max, and I'm scratching my head and I can't understand, like, firstly, where do they get all those emblems from, and how the hell do they manage to get the heroes and have them fully leveled in such a short period of time? Yeah, and you think, oh, whales, rich people, but if you're if you're spending lots of money just to pull a hero where the odds are ridiculously bad. I mean, they're so ridiculously bad, and sometimes you see people on YouTube, I've seen myself, you do 10 pull, you do 13 pull, you do 100 pull, and you still don't get the hero you're looking for. How do these people manage to pull for heroes, have the essential materials, and have them fully leveled? So for example, like, I've only got 275k worth of food, and we know that's going to cost a lot of food to just level one single hero. But then I saw something really strange. So what do people do? If there's an offer, they'll buy the offer. If there's an offer, they'll buy the offer. But many times, what I've also seen is people go to the gem shop and they click on, oh, don't charge me. They click on that. Oop. And they make a purchase. And I'm like, why would you make a purchase in the gem shop, like randomly, like a £99 deal or a £48 deal? Why would you buy a deal like that doesn't offer you Damascus blade or an essential material? Like, where are you getting that stuff from? Obviously, if you're getting all that stuff from there, from Molovia or Springvale, you don't have to worry about ascension mats. But what happens if Molovia or Springvale or the Sand Empire is finished? Because you're completing other quests like the one that where you get emblems or the monthly events, because now you've got a super spruced up team, fully leveled 3 stars, fully leveled 4 stars, fully leveled 5 stars. You are now competing at a top level way before your time. And because you're competing in a top level way before your time, you're also coming in top position way before your time. And also, you're getting all those extra loot and all those better prizes that everybody else is not getting, because you're nearly 1 year ahead of everybody else. And that's how then people get rings, people get all other kinds of essential materials, because their teams and their rosters are already so far advanced and so buffed up way before their time, because way before their time they managed to get their essential materials. Now, the thing that I didn't understand when I've been watching some YouTube videos and I've been watching other players from around the world is when, again, like I said, they go and they buy these gems. They don't buy it with essential materials. They don't buy it with anything. And I'm like, who in the right mind in the whole community goes and buys those deals? I've bought those deals and I've hated myself for it. But who goes and buys those deals ridiculously like that? And then the next thing they do is they go to battle items. No, I'm wrong. They go to resources and they go to either 50% food, so you can choose that. It costs you 850 diamonds to fill your food halfway, or you can fill your food completely for 1,699 gems. That's like £16, £17, $17. So they would fill up their food, they go out, they go into their roster, they collect their heroes, and they start leveling. Another thing they do is when they don't have any more feeders, I've seen people go into training, and they go and they skip the training, and then once they've skipped it, then they start collecting all their heroes, and then they go into their roster and they start feeding their heroes. Where we are spending money trying to pull for a decent hero, they are spending their money on getting food, getting iron if need be, and speeding up the completion of heroes. That is why a lot of the heroes that people get, like this month is, let's say, Glenda. Let's say everybody wants Glenda. A week from now, not even, if you go into the rankings, there you go, Glenda. What happens to the entire community? The entire community starts complaining. Telluria's overpowered, Vala's overpowered, we can't beat them, we don't have the heroes to beat them. Of course, we don't have the heroes to beat Telluria and Vala, because we haven't exploited Empires and Puzzles for materials the same way as many other players have. That is why we don't have fully leveled rosters to be able to attack players that have overpowered teams. And how have these players so quick, and why is there so many people with almost the same team repeated, fully leveled and fully blended to the max very quickly? Now, the whole Telluria and Vala story of them being very overpowered all started around Easter, and this is when this exploit had started. So it's not so much about those two heroes being overpowered. It's because people have exploited the materials to have those heroes and many others. I mean, yeah, people can say, oh, what am I gonna do with 60 tablets? Yeah, what are you gonna do with 60 tablets? I can tell you what you're gonna do. You can be, for example, this is just an example, but for example, let's just say the guy goes and pulls 10 Quintuses. Quintus, total rubbish. Total rubbish, people don't like him. And Quintus without a costume, even worse. But the guy who's pulling 20, 30, 40 tablets, you know what that guy's gonna do? He's gonna take Quintus, he's gonna fully level him. Not only is he gonna fully level him, but because he's exploited the materials, and because he's had great heroes to then participate in wars, in titans, in tournaments, 3 stars, 4 stars and 5 stars, the quest stages, the monthly events, and then he's getting all those other extra loot and essential materials because he's got good heroes and super leveled heroes way before their time, yeah, they're gonna be laughing. They're gonna getting more gems. They're gonna be getting more essential materials. Most importantly, they're gonna be getting a lot of um, what's that stuff called? Emblems. And those emblems, they're gonna put it onto their heroes, making them stronger. And they can even be putting them on their 3-star heroes and their 4-star heroes for tournaments. What happens? They come in the top 1%. What happens when they come in the top 1%? The rewards are way better. They're gonna get more ascension materials. They're gonna get epic hero tokens. They're gonna get epic troop tokens. The other thing I don't understand, being level 70, my teams or my troops, the biggest troops I have is level 22, and I've seen people on level 40, level 50. No disrespect, if you've got it leveled to 30, I'm very happy for you, but a genuine long time player who's played for quite a few years, who's trying to build up his troops, and they're still sitting at 22 and he's at level 70. How the hell do people manage to get their troops to level 30? One, they're very rich. Two, they're not spending their money on doing... They're not spending £300, £400 like I've seen many players do to pull a great hero or two. They're spending their £300-400 on doing epic troop tokens. To pull for epic troops. These epic troops, then they feed them away. And that's how they've got their level 30. Why? Because they're not spending their money to get essential materials. They're not spending their money to get great heroes on pulling. And even then, if they are exploiting since Springvale to be getting essential materials, not only are they getting essential materials, they're getting epic hero tokens and they're getting epic troop tokens. So SG just taking away the materials or the stuff that they managed to get just in Morlovia is not good enough, because it's affected the entire game. Here's the thing, SG then decides to go and nerf heroes like Vela and Teleria and whatever, to balance the game. But the thing is, maybe the leaderboard wouldn't be so smashed full of Teleria and Vela, because if people were actually playing properly and playing honestly, maybe half of the top 100 or whatever thousand, they wouldn't be facing Teleria every single time, because that exploit wouldn't have been available for people to exploit in. That is not their fault. That is your fault, SG. You made it available to them. And you were the ones who then didn't pay attention, and then you went nerfing the heroes. Let's just say, for the complainer's sake, that Teleria and Vela were overpowered. Okay, so Teleria and Vela are overpowered. But here's the thing, Season 3 heroes, since they've nerfed Teleria and Vela now twice, they have now taken the Season 3 heroes, which are already powerful enough, and more powerful than the 2 heroes of the month. They have now added extra buffs on them. Not only have they added extra buffs, the new Ninja Tower with the new heroes are ridiculously powerful, but we've got nerfed heroes to fight them with. Like, what the hell? So how are we gonna fight these stronger heroes? How's that balancing the game? How is that balancing the game? Now, these people that have exploited the game and have gotten their essential materials, and even if they've got 5 quintuses from Morlovia, because they've got shitloads of tablets and they've gotten maybe 5 quintuses, and they didn't get the ideal super fast sniper Satana, yeah, they've gone in, they're laughing, they've gone and leveled their quintuses up, they've given them the tablets and all that stuff, but those quintuses, they also have emblems. and they are strong enough, and they've got an abundance of heroes from doing this kind of style play. When we had that ninja tower for the first time, what happened? Most of us probably made it halfway. Some of us probably made it to the first top 5, top 10 stages, and we couldn't go anymore because our heroes got cursed and whatever. But that's because we don't have a huge roster, and a huge roster with fully leveled heroes, because we do not have the essential materials for those heroes. Whereas the people that have exploited this issue, not only do they have a multitude of heroes, even if they have 5 Quintuses, one Quintus gets cursed, but they still got another one, and another one, and another one. So it's still good to think, oh, well, what are you going to do with all those tablets? But the thing is, you're not just exploiting that part of the game, because you're participating in all these events, including the Ninja Tower. You probably made it to the top tier. So if you've made it to the top tier, where some of us only got a measly 5 emblems, or 1 emblem if we were lucky, these guys that have exploited the game, they got all this extra. So SG, you can't temporarily ban these people or put their accounts on suspension, because once they return, the game will still remain unbalanced. And it's your fault, not the players. We're not gonna be the community. We shouldn't be hating each other. We all remember this was here, the tower. This was made ready, available to all of us. We go to the revenge, someone's online, we would reroll for free. We all did it. Every single one of us. So SG, this is your fault. The only way to fix this, and to come up with a proper solution, SG, is all these players that have exploited the game in that way, what you need to do is, you need to reset their games back to January 2020. And if this issue has been going on longer, you should reset it back to maybe even January 2019. In the same time, every single time they have purchased any gems, all those gems need to be refunded back to them. So the game gets reset back to January, where there was no known issue. All the gems that they would have spent, i.e. going to buy food to top up so that they can quickly emblem and level their heroes, so that they can show off they're in the top 100 people. Because you've taken back everything from them and you've reset them back to what they once were, that money that they spent does belong to them. To make it fair for them, to make it fair for the entire community, you reset them back to how their game was in January. But then, to be really fair, you need to refund all the money that they spent in buying gems. You need to refund all of that back to them, because then they can use that money, that gems, to pull for heroes on certain events like the rest of us have been doing. Therefore, when they've been gaining extra emblems and extra food and whatever extra they've been getting from tournaments and from quest map stages, all of that gets wiped off. And that will cause a balance in the game. And no one feels unfair that they've been cheated or whatever. And that's why when you return the money back to them, they can have a choice. They can either have their gems back that they've spent from January onwards up until now, or you just refund them their money and then they choose to either buy gems with their money and do pulls like the rest of us and grow like the rest of us, or they can quit the game, because it's just going to be imbalanced. And I'll also suggest all the nerfs that you've done to Teleria, Vala and many others, because they overpowered and it's caused an imbalance of the game. The heroes didn't cause an imbalance of the game, because if the heroes caused an imbalance of the game, you wouldn't be buffing Season 3 heroes and having these ridiculously strong ninja heroes that then we've got nerfed heroes we can't fight with. So you need to then reset all of that shit back to the way it was, and then we can all continue. And that's how I think things should go. SG, this is your fault. You made the mess, you fix it up. You cannot penalize the players for doing or trying to do something. We have all complained about matchmaking in wars. We get ridiculously bad boards when we're fighting a Titan, bad boards when we're doing raids, you know, that kills the game. Sometimes we've got really great heroes, and it doesn't matter how many times you play, you can have Teleria, you can have 5 Telerias, or whatever the case may be, and you know, you get a bad board and you can't play the game. It's a total loss, total waste of time. Pisses many players off, it pisses me off when it happens. It makes me really upset when my team then complains and says, oh, I'm really sorry, I was really bad in the war. No, you weren't bad in the war, because you play so excellent. You know, the only reason why you've been doing badly in the war is because of the board that you're being dealt. That is the problem with the game. The other problem with the game is when you get deals like this. Not so much this deal, but yesterday we had a deal for, I think it was £10 or something like that, where any player in the game, instead of earning emblems, they can buy them. That's the other problem. So people that have money will be able, and I'm not talking about you being on a budget for £10 or £20 or £50. I'm talking about if you're ridiculously rich, or if you're one of these nuts, mad people who go and get a mortgage and spend your mortgage on the game to buy emblems. Those kinds of people, yes, they're gonna have lots of emblems. The rest of us, we will not have emblems. It kills the game. That's the problem with the game. So, I think that is my personal opinion. Can like my video, can hate my video, can agree with me, can disagree with me, don't really give a shit. But I think the only way to balance all of this, and to be fair, is to make sure that those players who have exploited the Morlovia, the Sand Empire, and the Easter event, that their accounts get reset back to January, to the way they were. USG, you refund them the cash that they bought their gems with, then they can choose what they want to do with their cash, either buy more gems, or if they're happy to receive gems back, they can use those gems to do pulls like the rest of us have been doing, to use gems to do whatever they need to do. And I can guarantee you they will not be using their gems to go to the resources to buy food, because their main concerns are going to first be to pull a decent hero. After pulling a decent hero is to work on that hero, and that's how they're going to be playing, just like the rest of us. And also, there will be no imbalance. If you temporarily just take whatever they managed to gain in Morlovia, and let's just say you could do a fantastic job, not only in Morlovia, but you're going to go back to Sun Empire, and you're going to go back to the Easter events. Everything that they managed to gain in just those 3 events gets taken away from them. But here's the thing. That gets taken away from them, but what about all the quest stages that we've been playing week in, week out, for months now, getting emblems? Now, if they've gotten an opportunity to have leveled a fully 5-star team, whereas once before maybe they didn't have, they've got a lot more emblems than anybody else will have. What about wars? What about raids? What about the tournaments? There's just so much rewards that they have gotten, so much more than everybody else, just from gaining those ascension materials. And we cannot blame them for getting them ascension materials, because again, SG, you have nerfed the drop rate in the player base getting essential materials. You know, fine. To get a hero, extremely difficult. But you know, at least make the drop rate for essential materials a little bit easier. Or make the drop rate for the essential materials difficult, but make getting a new hero easier. You know? People have been complaining. You have been ignoring people. You've made something available to people to exploit. You cannot punish them. You can. It's your game. It's your community base. Half of the community is already left. Look at us. 17 players. Look at us again. I'll show you another one. There we go. Look at us again. 11. Look at us again. 1. Why? Because most of the player base is left. Not just us. We go to the bigger teams. Most of them have also broken down. Before all of this shenanigans of exploitation, nonsense, whatever's happened, a lot of player bases left because SG, you failed to listen to us. We give you suggestions. Maybe a loyalty thing. You log in for 7 days, you know, get an extra hero, or you log in for 7 days, get a tabard. Or no, maybe if you want to be really stingy, log in for a month. You get a collection of tabard, poison darts, things like that. Log in for a week, you then get, and it can even be on rotation. Log in for a week, you get Orb of Magic. Log in every day for the next week, you get a steady shield. Log in for the following week after that, you get some trap tools. It will be fair for people that pay to play. It will be fair for people who are cheap to play. And it will also be fair for people who are free to play. Because the people that are free to play, if they enjoy the game, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family, they're going to share it on social media, they're going to share it on Facebook. Their friends and their family, they are going to join the game, to join them to enjoy the game as a community, and you make more business that way. You treat your customers like shit. This is the kinds of things that happen. And I honestly think all this nerfing of heroes wouldn't have gotten as bad and wouldn't have needed to be nerfed in the degrees that they were nerfed, not just with those two, but with many others, had this issue not been exploited in the first place. Now, once you've got an advantage, and let's just say you've got a 5-star team or whatever, and once you've got an advantage, the advantage doesn't just stop in Morlovia with tabards. Your advantage is throughout the entire game. Now, temporarily suspending people or taking away the loot that they got just in those events will not compensate for everything else that they've managed to get because of what they got in those events. That is my personal opinion. It's your mess up. You need to fix it, SG. That's my opinion on this.